Sorry, go for it. I mean, you want to play your solos first, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, totally. One of y'all should come down here and introduce the show. Yeah. You have a script? You want a script? Okay. It's like, welcome to Back of House.
Hey everybody, welcome to Back of House. I'm Philip, and Jacob's up there. This is Evan Flory-Barnes, and he's our guest today, and he's going to start us out with some stuff, and then we're going to have a talk, and then we're going to maybe play some more music together and just have fun. And I hope you guys are having fun with us at home. Back of House is just trying to give you guys a glimpse into a little bit more behind the scenes of how musicians work and what we do, and how we make our art. So,
Yeah, you
welcome,
want to tell us a little bit about yourself before you start playing? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My name's Evan Flory-Barnes, born and raised here in Seattle, Washington. Been playing music in various settings for the last, going on 20 years. Done everything from straight ahead jazz stuff to soul stuff to R&B stuff to classical music to playing with folks like Skerrick and Industrial Revelation and again, all across the board, hip hop. And of late, I've been doing my own music, what I refer to as avant soul pop, which is like imagining taking the worlds of, it takes all my worlds, my love of classical music, orchestration, my love of classic soul, my love of experimental pop. But when I think of avant soul pop, I kind of think about merging the worlds of like Björk and Curtis Mayfield and like Smokey Robinson. It's like classic soul running through a experimental pop filter. So that's what I've been doing of late, in addition to just, as all of us have, just been trying to make it work for live stream. So it's good to be out of my living room and here at the back of the house is a good vibe here. So I'm gonna start with one of the tunes in that vein. A series of tunes that kind of reflect a period of coming out of some heaviness and even like in a certain way, relational challenges and depression and and it's kind of self-suppression in a certain way. And this tune is called Doe So Very Dear. It's kind of, the person I was with at the time, we were up at Doe Bay. It was late at night, we were driving around, and there's a lot of deer up there. And I see a car just kind of driving by really fast, and you like look and say, "Oh, please don't let one of these deer get hit." And sure enough, one of the deer does get hit. It like picked itself up all awkwardly, then like stumbled off into a thing, and it was a strange way. I didn't think about it then, but it became foreshadowing for the breakdown of the relationship. So that being said, and those who are into animal tarot matters, I believe deer relates to the innocence of things. And the innocence sure got knocked down. So, without further ado, this is Doe So Very Dear. So, my dear, it looks like you're still here. I hang around with some pain to be around you again. And she walked away from view. And that was good for you too. Why do we stay here? Knocked around that poor dear. So we pull ourselves up, stumble away. into a roadside grave. And I thought you were the truth. Then I began to lie to you. So, my dear, looks like you're still here. I hang around with some pain to be around you again. And she walked away from you. And that was good for you too. Why do we stay here? Knocked around that poor dear. So we pull ourselves up, stumble away into a roadside grave. And I thought you were the truth. And I began to lie to you. So, my dear, it looks like you're still here. I hang around with some pain to keep you near. And I thought you were the truth. Then I began to lie to you. Ooh, 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 So, my dear, it looks like it's still. So, my dear, it looks like it's still here. It's still here. I hang around with some pain to keep you near, to keep you near, to keep you near, to keep you near, to keep you near. Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Thank you so much. Whew.
How you feeling? You got one more again?
I definitely got one more. Sure. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Feels good to be in here. It's a good vibe. I'm gonna tune that one's tuned down to drop D. It's like I tune my E string back up. Maybe one day there'll be a cat to bring out an extra bass. You know.
Next time we got you, let me know.
So I think I'll do a tune. Let's see. We got some other. I'm trying to think of another color. I know what to do. Okay, this is a tune. It's called Memory Lane. It kind of brings out sort of the guitaristic vibes. And if you guys want to sing along at the very end, you can. This is a song that kind of kind of takes a couple of relationships and kind of morphs them. One that goes from negative, another one goes into the positive. And so there's like a blending of kind of a perception of those. And it's called Memory Lane.
What if you and I took a trip down memory lane, only to find that our experience was not the same? Would you still love me true as a unique part of you? Then we found a place to rest our weary hearts, a respite full of beauty, laughter and art, and it was destroyed, my dear, by all the things that we fear and won't let come near. How much of myself can I learn to love through loving you? How much of myself can I learn to love through loving you? What if you and I made an exchange of each other's pain? Would we find that our experience would be exactly the same? And you are so dear, even through all the pain and fear, but I can no longer come near you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. How much of myself can I learn to love? Loving you. How much of myself can I learn to love? Through loving you. How much of myself can I learn to love? Through loving you. How much of myself can I learn to love? To loving you. You reflect a part of me that needs my love, a part that I'm afraid of, that needs my love, a part that I walked out on, that needs my love, a part that I abandoned, that needs my love, a part that I'm afraid of, a part that I walked out on, that needs my love, that needs my love. Ooh, 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 la, da, ooh, ooh, in the hopes of healing, in the hopes of loving, in the hopes of being who we are, in the hopes of healing, and the hopes of loving, and the hopes of being who we are. La da 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 da. Hey, hey, ooh. hopes of being who we are, and the hopes of loving, in the hopes of healing, and the hopes of being who we are, who we are, who we are, who we are, who we are. La da 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 da, hey, hey, ooh, ooh. La da 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 da, hey, hey, ooh, ooh. La da 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 da, hey, hey, ooh, ooh. La da 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 da, hey, hey, ooh, ooh.
Thank you. Whew.
Wow. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
You sound great in here. Good job.
Thank you. Feels good. It feels a really good vibe in here.
It is.
It'll be great when we can get the full hangs going.
We are, the thing
Seems like it.
the way that I look at it is
Yeah.
that everyone who streams is somebody who's in one of these seats, and
Right.
then so we're playing to an audience.
Absolutely. Well, it feels
You know?
feels amazing.
So it feels good, and it sounds pro in there. It sounds good.
That's
So,
great.
Great job. I love your sensibility. You're so right. You have a really good middle ground between like vintage R&B soul vibes and also like more modern singer-songwriter / experimental
Yeah.
stuff, and I really like that balance that you're reaching. Like
Thank you.
R&B crooner meets soul meets singer-songwriter. It totally holds up as a solo act, and that's pretty cool. I mean,
Thank you.
especially on bass too.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Really,
I appreciate
really
that.
unique and cool. Really
Thank you
beautiful.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare to see somebody take those kind of inflections of Jocko and kind of apply them into a pop kind of mold. I love that, how you that rhythmic nature that you have going on for like the kind of giving you the rhythmic sense of a strumming guitar, but it's just like kind of the arpeggios between bass line notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has groove because it is a bass. It's
Yeah,
not a guitar.
absolutely.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
kinda- it's just different, you know.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Cool.
Huh?
So tell me about is it the C5? What?
Oh
5C?
gosh,
What?
it's funny. That happened a while. That was like the last show that I did. I mean, it's in a way it's a kind of a total concept, but I did a show at the Fremont Abbey back in January, and it was called "Seed of the Fifth," and it just described like, that was a long working title. It was like, I can't remember. It's like the culmination, the cataclysm as catalyst for the culmination of creativity. I think so. Wait a minute, that's 4 C's. The catalyst as crucible and catalyst for the cultivation of creativity. So it's just to describe like being in this kind of going through his own personal transition, and then like, here's one thing about doing music that's a trip is that like there's doing the music that, just kind of being the job, doing the music and doing the music that's fun, but then there's like kind of like feeling, if you're not doing your own expressive thing, that you can feel like buried down and suppressed. And so it took a reckoning to kind of realize, oh man, and so this is that title's about kind of coming forward, and like these songs came out of that, and that's kind of like feeling anew, but with this like deep being down in the trenches emotionally, creatively.
Do you find acknowledging that to be empowering to your creativity?
Absolutely, without question. A
lot of people don't want to even acknowledge it because it's almost like a guilt thing. Like, oh, I'm selfish because I want to do this for myself. A lot of us give for most of our lives,
Right.
and support other people's cause. So yeah, I totally can relate to that.
Me too. I really can relate to that.
Yeah.
A lot. So you have worked with a lot of different people. Tell us about some of these folks that you've worked with. I definitely recognize some of these names: Scarrett's Bandelabra, Maroon Colony, Thread of Beauty, Industrial Revelation, Teaching, Roboto Hug, Thrown Together with Love. Can you tell me anything about that stuff?
A lot of that stuff is, it's all kind of, Scarrick, a long time musician, based here in Seattle, does a lot of things.
God.
Like saxophone. One of my, I learned a lot from him in the sense of just devotion to the instrument, and like he's very devoted to his craft of just the saxophone, even the way he just approaches it and sort of like embodies it. It's always fun to kind of play with him. That was a group with me, him, Devon Lewis, and Andy Coe, and that was really wonderful. And we did a little touring. Just a little touring around the country in the early 2010s up to like mid 2010s, and then Industrial Revelation, of course, is old band of brothers that started in 2006, and then we played for a number of years and won the Genius Award in like 2014, and then we're just doing, and again and so it's interesting. There's been all this, and then all those other bands and projects are kind of like offshoots of various concepts of like kind of thrown together like projects that like the Teaching's one of them, thrown together of love. It's like they're all kind of like projects with people that it's interesting that are almost from this era that I feel like I have kind of moved out of. So it's weird. It's almost like that's those are the things that I did, but it's almost like that's you're always connected to this, but it's also like there's something new from that. So yeah, there's all various projects over the last 10 years that have been just things here and there for various shows. And
I feel that way about a lot of my projects from the last 10 years locally too. Everything from KK and his Weathered Underground to Caprice to a bunch of different stuff that we've done in here, and it's like that's part of the identity of how I've evolved as a musician.
Sure.
And I'm seeing that it's like it's like a tree. So now you're up in the branches of the tree, but you have to have the trunk of the tree.
And the roots for sure.
The roots too, and the soil that the roots go into.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about what quarantine's been like for you.
Oh man, it's been good. It's been, at one level, it's been good in the sense of like reevaluating a lot of stuff, and just like sort of like focusing on various things I want to do, and also just really getting into just owning the creative entrepreneurial vibe and just going for it, and just like thinking about all the different ways you can reach people nowadays. And all the different ways that you can access people, and just getting over like the perfectionist paralysis, getting rid of all of that, and just like making stuff and putting stuff out there. And also just I've been doing a lot like stuff. We've been doing live stream concerts. I call it Cooped Up on the Couch on Facebook Live.
I saw that.
And it's been fun, just to kind of like have this thing.
Cool series. Check it out. Cooped Up on the Couch.
And then just been playing. I've been also just kind of doing impromptu stuff. I did a couple of pre-recorded, like I recorded my part, and then it was a concert that was streamed and from far away, and it's a couple of ideas. So I've been doing a lot of that, and then like doing a lot of yoga, which has been nice. Then I've been running around, kind of walking in Columbia City, and it's been good. It hasn't felt too. I always gotta make sure I gotta get outside early enough, just to there's a park across from where I live. I'll just bring my cup of coffee, sit in the park. If I do that, we're good. I don't feel the
overwhelming.
I mean, you're doing yoga. I know, like, we see you a lot at Taproot, so it's like you already know, trying to keep that healthy zen going.
Absolutely.
Trying to keep that healthy glow.
I still need to go see. I saw T at the PCC, but I need to go support with because I know she's
She out there. They still, they're doing the to-go cocktails now. I'm like,
Oh, wow,
definitely,
really?
Yeah, so I'm like, definitely gonna have to. Maybe they could like make some juice, sort of like boozy juice thing going on.
Go cocktails.
Yeah,
Shout out
She's like a wizard with the cocktails.
She is a
I mean, she's a wizard all the way around.
Yeah,
she's the wizard. But her cocktails, man,
cocktails.
serious business.
Her and Marcus. I'm like,
No, Marcus.
and Marcus, they be on it.
Trouble.
I'm like, why do y'all come up with this stuff?
Man.
So good.
All right. Well, I guess we have a new sponsor. We need to
Yeah,
reach
yeah,
out
yeah,
to
yeah.
them.
Yeah, we
Shout
gotta
out
find-
to
Because we're
Taproot.
plugging you on our show. So Taproot, come on.
Shout out to T.
We're allies now.
We're now friends.
So
it.
I think that probably a lot of people would know you as an upright bass player
Mm-hmm.
too. So can you talk about like, is this sort of where you are in the pocket of like evolution where you're at right now, or what? Tell me about the relationship between the electric and the acoustic situation for you right now.
Well, I played this instrument first when I was coming out of 8th grade. I was inspired by the Red Hot Chili Pepper song "Under the Bridge," and then I was, and then after that, I went to Cleveland High School for a semester. They had a beginning strings program, so they needed someone to play upright bass, and they're we're playing like really simple, like kind of elementary school string stuff. And I transferred to Garfield, and then I with my little, basically very little knowledge of the bass. I took a few lessons. We did our chill recitals, but I went from playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Canon in D to they brought together the A and B orchestra, it was this big giant orchestra, and I was the last chair of the 9 basses. We played Shostakovich Symphony No. 5, and it was just really hard, but I got thrown in the deep end. And so since then there's always been this back in high school they were I was kind of a double. I played in this group Maroon Colony, which is this hip hop band I played in. I'd play some songs on upright, some songs on electric, and then when I got to the UW. The classical teacher Barry Lieberman, I started to just really go in on my.
Barry,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know him. He coached a string quartet that I was.
Oh
in.
yeah,
Yeah.
Barry Lieberman.
I love that guy.
Me too.
Shout out Barry.
Shout out to
Lieberman.
Barry.
He does all the mostly Mozart stuff,
Yep.
which is a pretty big famous thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I didn't put the D&D on my phone.
Oops.
There's always something that I forget.
Hotline bling over here.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time with Barry, and
Wow.
it was really wonderful to get that. I think sometimes, especially in this day and age, it's hard. Having an old school hard case as a teacher, it's you either love it or hate it. I loved it.
Jacob knows about that.
You know, just
too.
having that and the thing is, what Barry would do is he would do this kind of back and forth of if you really shed it hard that week, he let you know oh, I see you. But if you didn't get to practice and you try to go in and F around, he'd call you out and you'd feel all small and sad and then you I found the balance, but that was great. And I was also doing jazz bass, and then so I was just what I found myself doing though was gravitating more to putting the upright in all kinds of different situations. So I started playing this less, and then as my career started to develop, it was I was just only playing upright. And then in the last, I'd say 3 years, it's been kind of just getting back to my roots of playing this along to KISW and playing this along to the end and playing this along to again, I grew up, I was coming up, all that alternative rock and all that stuff, and also playing on hip hop lines. And so in a way, it was kind of getting back into my roots. But then I took all this jazz and classical technical stuff, and then I brought it back to because there's a certain sort of electric bass discipline.
Yes.
That's a little bit different. It's
It
very
has
different.
frets.
Yeah, and so I had to reapply my knowledge set, but then pay homage to all the technical stuff involved in learning this thing. So it's been both. It's been that sort of getting into the roots thing, but then also having it from a new perspective. So it's been fun, and it's been nice. Also, it's just easier to carry around, which is
Absolutely. Upright
Absolutely.
bass is, man, I mean, you can fit it into a Volkswagen Bug, but it's a trick. Are you playing flat wounds?
Yeah, this is
Me too.
Yeah,
Because of the upright and the cello
Yeah.
thing, I like the slicker feel.
yeah.
So I feel like you're still in your roots, and
Absolutely.
that's old school right there. You
And-
know,
and
that's
I got
some
this-
James Jamerson stuff right
Absolutely. And shout out to a Columbia City resident, an assistant principal, I guess he's associate principal bass. I bought this bass off of Joe Kaufman. That's why it says Kaufman
Oh.
on my
Oh,
on my
cool.
on my bass case. And,
there. Oh, he's a god too.
yeah, you know,
he's great.
and he's so so this used to be his bass,
Oh,
and
man.
it's pretty sweet. So there's actually a lot of great. I don't know. It's funny that we're way up here, but it's like, you know, it's nice to refer to that region and that area and just all the
The craziness of
Yeah.
the roots that are in that
Yeah.
Rainier Valley area.
Absolutely.
Oh, that Columbia City hotbed of creativity.
I remember the first time going in Aruba notes and just being like not expecting much out of the live jam session there on Sunday nights, and sorely mistaken. Yeah, and you know, in the most pleasant way. I didn't know like there were that many players in this region.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you got Lonnie Williams just kind of waltzing around wherever.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
uh,
There's, all kinds of cats, man. No doubt.
there's some players for
Well,
sure.
it's an inspiring area to live as a musician.
It is. Really
You know,
is.
It's because you've got all the mountains and trees and water and everything
Thank
around
you.
you, and
Thank you for
culturally it's chill. You know.
Sometimes though, I'm glad you say that, because I long for this city to get over it's like that landscape is grand.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's
so
not,
why
it's
do
not,
we
it's
have-
not it's not like, oh, I guess I'm cool. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's like majestic.
It's cool. It's like, why
know
do
what
we
I'm
have
saying?
an inferiority
Yeah,
complex?
exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like we should be proud of
Yeah,
this
it's
place.
like Mount
we're-
Rainier doesn't have
we're
an
not.
inferior-
We're somehow
inferior
not
complex.
less than at all. In fact, Seattle is the hotbed of music, as far as creativity and talent and players and skill is concerned. It's Seattle.
Yeah.
Sorry, every other city,
Yeah.
but it's Seattle. But we, you know, and I used to think like, oh, Seattle has all the creativity, and I would be all negative about like, oh, it just doesn't have the industry, which is kind of, we need more infrastructure.
Right.
And then what we've been realizing is that no, we are the infrastructure, and we're just going to make this happen.
Yeah.
We're going to do it, and so we don't have to whine about it.
Yep.
It's all in front of us.
And bringing
we
that-
have the best players
and bringing
in
that
town.
innovative spirit that's always
Yeah.
been here. I mean, like,
Exactly.
even if you think about like, if you think about someone like, it's always been this spirit of like, you take a couple of things and you even like from Bruce Lee to Quincy Jones. I mean, you know,
To
Bruce Lee took all these parts.
Jimi Hendrix.
Every cat took these
To
parts.
the Sonics, who
Yeah.
invented punk rock, by the way. They were from the 60s.
Yeah.
They're still touring right now.
Wow.
Dude, I mean, maybe not right now this very second, but they're
Prob-
still
probably
doing
not
shows
right
now.
up
Yeah,
till up till this.
Absolutely.
Maybe digitally.
And they invented punk rock.
Yeah.
The Sonics did it. Fight me. Come at me, bro.
The
If
so-
you don't think the Sonics invented punk rock, Tacoma, Washington.
We'll
Also,
get
the
back to that.
Ventures were bigger than the Beatles in Japan.
Wow.
And they're from Tacoma.
Yeah.
Ray Charles lived
Yeah.
here for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yep. All kinds
I
of
mean,
cats.
this continues to be a hotbed
Absolutely.
of great musical talent and prowess and artistic creativity.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I think even like if you're thinking like Rainier Valley too, it's like I always think about Seward Park, which looks
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And two, like I mean, I grew up in the South, and frankly, I feel like the whole color scheme's really just bland.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of like beige and brown
Right.
and like regular stuff, but like you can walk around anywhere here and like feel inspired by like
Right.
just like the colors and like
It's vibrant.
the
Yeah.
cuts
Yep.
of things and the
Yeah.
vibrancy
Yeah.
and like
It is in the water.
yeah,
It's the
and it's
nature,
in the water.
You know?
So I'm like, I think people come here because it is really majestic. How you
Right.
say like,
I mean,
is-
even the evergreen thing.
Oh,
Most people don't
even-
understand that most trees actually are not green year round. Most
right?
of-
Yeah.
I mean, unless
It's
you
not
go down to
normal.
Olympia or something, then those look amazing too. I'm like, I ain't never seen trees like this.
But it's also because it rains all the time here, so there's also that. So when it's crappy weather, we all hole away and work on our art.
that's what I think
'Cause
the,
we don't go to the beach
X
as
factor
much.
is of Seattle.
Yeah.
It's It's like we stay inside and
rain.
just do things. We got our own brand of social distancing.
Right, exactly.
You know?
+5 creative points. +5 creative power.
I know y'all want to start making some music or something. Or?
I think
That'd
we
be
could.
cool.
Yeah, y'all look like I'm itching to
We
do
should
it.
jam.
You know.
Y'all got like a good 20 minutes to bust something out.
Jake with Back of House, presented by Devin Lee. Shot with Quentin Peters, James Gertie, Matt, Gabe. Special thanks, my co-host Philip Peterson, and our awesome guest, bass player, all-around avant electro soul musician. Really up my alley, stylistically, kind of the eclectic blend. You know what I mean?
We need you to come back and do more of these in the future.
This is like a. You guys are getting a glimpse into like some future sounds that we're like just kind of trying to curate ourselves. But this is definitely in line, man. I love this. This is fun. So we might jam out for a couple more minutes or whatever. Maybe we'll vamp and just close it down. But yeah. But thank you all for joining us. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? 5 more minutes sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, we could vamp on out.
Feels ready to vamp out.
we're like, oh, when's he gonna come back and stake his claim? But like, it's like, oh, it's coming back around. You're like, I was there. I've been doing this. They're like, who is this guy? It's like, yep.
keep getting better at them.
Be sure to tune in to our Facebook and Instagram to find out more details on how to download and get access to these files, which are open for Creative Commons sampling to help empower producers and creators in the greater Pacific Northwest area.
And we can announce next week's guest is Cameron Lavey-Jones from King Youngblood. And he's going to come it's going to be so fun.
Same spirit, unrehearsed. We don't know what we're doing, and that's the fun part. Nice, man. That was super fun.
Thank you.
Holy cow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah, baby.
That was so good. Whoa.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you all. This was a blast.
Yeah, that was.